Welcome to Galactic Grandmother, Heart to Heart. My name is April, and my special guest today is Ally-Seraphim. Ally comes to us from Canada, where she is the mother of beautiful twin girls. She's a massage therapist. She's a breathwork practitioner and an energy worker, both personally on individuals, and she does grid work. And she, in her own words, has transformed herself, especially in this past year. And I'm very excited to hear about that. So, welcome, Ally. I really appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you having me here. Thank you.
I have been following you for years now, and you have gone through a lot of changes in your life.
I
Would you
have.
like to speak to us about your personal journey to bring you to where you are today?
I would love to. There's so much to be said. I feel I'm thinking of like what kind of direction do I want to head in here? But there's so many multifaceted levels to my journey. And I see that you're more geared toward the spiritual side, which I love speaking about, but not everybody hears that when I explain to them my journey in that sense.
Right.
So I'm just going to start from here. I've had a past of having a little bit of trauma as a child, not too crazy, but enough to create a little bit of a distortion in my mind and to attract situations in my life that brought upon more of that sort of same storyline as I first experienced with
Right.
my first trauma. So I understood after some time that ultimately everything that I was attracting was because of what was going on inside my body. So that was understood at a very early age. Although I still resorted to having a lifestyle of escapism through my earlier years, that kind of caused more of a distortion in my body. So you can say that I put myself through hell. And
Mhm.
I have gone through hell. I have battled my own inner demons as well as other people's, because I have had always the ability to see things that you can't really explain. And I never really could really explain it fully to anybody. You could just feel it. So I've had that intuition and that sense of knowing. And so, with that being said, I had a very high faith in a creator and something that was bigger than me. So that has been my most powerful driving force to really get me to where I am today. And my ability to discern through whether or not if people are who they say they are, or if they have ulterior motives, or if there's any things working in the shadows
Mhm.
on a different kind of spectrum of reality that most people don't see. But I've always been able to pick up on that. And so that, I guess, could be my gift. And so I started to realize that through my escapism, I think that I knew that I needed to do a lot of detox, mind, body, and soul. After hours and hours of really going deep into what we call spiritual awareness, as well as learning about the body and how the human body is directly connected to the mind and the spirit. And so all of those three, you can't have one without the other, right? And so they all operate together. And so I understood that if I wanted to get on a higher level of to be able to affect people in a very, very healing, meaningful way, I needed to clear my body and my mind and my soul. So I took part in many energy practices. I learned how to use the Earth's grid, energy grid work with Vogel crystals, which are very
Oh, yeah.
highly powerful, precise tools that you can use to amplify prayer through words. And obviously, we can already do that without the crystals, but to use this type of technology is, from my experience, really, really, really effective. So basically, I started to cleanse my body. And as I started cleansing my body and learning that I needed minerals in my mind and my brain and my physical, things started to come even more powerfully for me. And my manifestations started to happen so quickly, but there was still a little bit of a lingering old program that I was still fighting. So over the years, it was like me battling myself from being in the complete light and then also doing shadow work and seeing my dark sides and
Mhm.
trying to hide that from people and realizing that hiding it from people was really just keeping me in the dark, keeping me not able to really
Oh, yeah.
transition into fully being embodied, right?
Uh-huh.
So then eventually I found a group of people that are just my soul family, and they saw me and I got to be open and honest with them, and they didn't judge me. And I think for the most part, when people think that they can do it on their own, there's a certain level of that, yes, but I think there's power in numbers, right?
Right.
And so when people can hold you in a place where they still see your light when you're going through dark, I think that can be such a transformational space. So I really would urge so many people, if they're ever going through any dark, and especially if it's shameful for them or whatever, there are people that are willing to listen, and even just an open ear, people that you can speak to and be open and honest, that it just releases so much from your physical and your spiritual body, that it's just like you have more room to let more light in, right?
Right.
So that was a really pivotal moment for me. And since then, I've really attracted just great people. And then I learned that through over the years of doing so much detoxing and studying and researching, I accumulated so much information that I've been helping a lot of people through their detox journeys. And I recently took a program last year that just completely blew my mind. It leveled up my awareness of detox and how to actually get rid of these pathogens in the body like tenfold. So, and I do see myself as becoming more, I guess, getting more education in that sense, that I would like to help people on a detox journey, because I feel like detox is the first thing. You want to get to enlightenment, you have to clear your body so your body can actually hold that light.
Mm-hmm.
So that's number one. And then as for my motherhood, it's been the most amazing journey. I feel like because they came into my reality. Since then, I have just been like, whoosh, like I just want to be the best version of myself. They have literally just opened my yearning for clearness and clarity and prosperity, and also being so present with myself so that I can be present with them. So before it wasn't as much of a like I kind of feel like I'm in a rush, but at the same time I don't. I feel like it's all in divine time. I did pray for them and they came on the first try. And yeah, that's where I'm at now. I'm here. They're 3.5 years old, and we have a really cool little life here. And for the most part, I'm focused on them. And then I get to about 3 days a week to kind of do stuff like this. So I do a lot of working out. I move my body. That's really important for me. And I'm eating super healthy, getting all the good stuff in my body. And I massage. So I've been massaging for 18 years now. And I do plan on I'm going to be upgrading my studies. I will be continuing more education when it comes to nervous system healing and fascia work, because I do believe that fascia, it holds the water and the memory in our body. And so when we can release that fascia, it starts to allow our traumas and our emotions to move. And
Mm-hmm.
emotion is really just energy and motion. And when we have emotion that's trapped in our body, it's usually in the fascia. And then when we don't have fascia laxity, like when it's not flexible and moving, then it stops the lymph from moving. So we retain so much. When the lymphatic system holds toxins, then we start to become a big giant blob of toxic load, right? So yeah, that's what
Yeah.
happens. And then
Yeah.
most people don't realize that it comes coming from your mind, from your trauma, from your emotions. And they're like, oh, I'm doing all the healthy things. It's like, but are you working on your trauma? Are you working on doing your shadow work? Do you know why you're operating in this way? Most people are operating in fight or flight mode. And so sometimes we need help from others, real professionals that know that all of these things are connected. That's where I'm at now. And so I'm taking my time and really just figuring out what I'd like to focus on now.
I love the idea of the fascia work
Yeah.
because and when I studied yoga,
Mhm.
I got a certified as a yoga instructor. I learned about yin yoga, which holds the positions for a number of minutes specifically for the fascia.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I think it is a current theme that we're educating others because I just did a video on this about the importance of detoxing and clearing out the mental, emotional, and physical stagnation and lower frequencies.
Right. Yes. And we're living in a world right now that we're bombarded by all of these frequencies, being disconnected from our true nature, trees, earth. earth loves to eat this stuff. And when we're just completely disconnected from the earth and then we expect to heal, the sun as well. And I mean, where I'm from, people are staying inside because it's cold. So we need way more vitamin D over here. And there is an epidemic of drug addicts out here. So it goes hand in hand. Like if people don't understand that we need to connect with nature and with the sun, it's just so much harder to release these hooks that these addictions give to us.
Right. And the polarization, the division in people is just at a very high level right now.
Yes. So it's almost like a video game. It's like we get to choose whether or not we want to elevate ourselves. Nobody's going to tell us how. We have to figure it out ourselves. Everybody has a little bit of a different path. Of course, they can be a little similar when it comes to detox, but how are you going to detox? Where are you going to start? That kind of stuff. That's up to you to figure out. And so developing your own ability to have your intuition online and then figure out being able to follow your heart. And I love that, heart to heart, because it's so intelligent. It's not our mind. When we have things that all of a sudden come up that we're like, oh, why is this brought to my awareness? It's like, then you feel it in your heart and you're like, oh, there's something there I need to look into or I need to put more attention towards.
Our heart center is a literal portal to our soul stream and higher consciousness.
It's your direct connection to source, to our creation. Yeah.
You're a young mother, you're working, and you've got the twins. Since I follow you on social media, I see the girls dancing, and I'm just wondering, I'm sure you've brought your healthy lifestyle and way of eating to the girls. And
Yes.
that's so fortunate for them to learn so early. And being a mother myself, I know kids just seem to naturally be healthy.
Yes, yes, they are. And especially if you teach them how to be in the first few years of their lives. And I think I've heard that their gut biome is set in those first 3 years, which is why it's so important to introduce things to them and make them used to these things so that eventually, as they get older, they'll actually want these things. It's what they learned that's normal and it's what their gut craves for the rest of their lives. So I kind of made a point not to do processed sugar or cane sugar because the cane sugar, yes, it grows in the ground, but it's been altered genetically.
Right.
And so it's something that God didn't put on this earth. It's definitely like fruits, all the sweet things that are just naturally honey. Yes, we eat tons of that stuff, but the cane sugar is something that really is a little bit of it's hard on our bodies and it becomes very addicting. And the way it processes in the body is way different than all the other sugars out there. So yeah, it's been a little difficult for that because as you know, kids, they're wanting ice cream and all the things. So what I have done is I got an ice cream maker. I make them the snacks and all the treats and things like that. And then there's also, of course, places that do cater to people with a little bit of different diet restrictions, things like that. Another one that I don't do is gluten. I try to stay away from that as much as possible, or the wheat products here because they're all sprayed with so much glyphosate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's very inflammatory to the gut. So I stay away from that. And I mean, I don't limit it. I don't restrict it completely. What they've had it here and there, but it's not one of our main foods that we eat.
What are their favorite foods?
Oh, what are their favorite foods? They love apples. They
Oh,
love apples. Yeah, apples and almond butter is like one of their favorite treats. They just, yeah, go crazy for them. And melons, they eat a lot of melons. And for the most part, they like rice, anything with rice. And their dad is part Trinidadian. So they eat lots of curry, which is really good for the
oh,
brain, the turmeric and yeah.
interesting.
And they have cacao with me too. We make cacao and we have little ceremonies and yeah, I'm actually planning on starting to do a little bit of a psychic twin games with them now that they're a little older. They're 3.5 now, so they can actually, you know, converse with me and understand what everything that I'm saying. So we're gonna start that tomorrow, actually.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
And they're probably already very tuned in to each
Yes,
other.
they are. Yeah. They're very tuned into everything. I've never met any little people like that before. Yeah, they're great.
Oh, that's wonderful. You're just lit up with love and
Yeah.
happiness and joy over the girls. That's the way it should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
so
my favorite thing.
awesome.
Hmm.
And they grow up too fast. I'm here to tell you.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. I'm like, oh man, they were attached to me for like the first 2 years of their lives. And now we're kind of transitioning into them having their own space in the bed because we co-sleep and I believe in co-sleeping. So one of them is really attached to me and she like pinches me and keeps me awake. So I kind of have to now kind of tell them, okay, you have to let me sleep because
Mhm.
we're all sleeping together. And it's been a transition. It's been a little bit difficult on my sleep, but
Mhm.
I know this will pass and then it's going to be the next thing. And
Right.
yeah, so that's why I feel like it's so important too. Being a single mother, taking care of my body is so important and my mind. So I can be able to, navigate all of these challenges without harming them.
Do they go to like a preschool to give you time to work
No, no.
or?
Their dad takes them a few days a week.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask you, one of my questions was, how do you fit in your own personal life, time to do everything you want to do?
Yeah, it's definitely not, it's very hard. But I make time. I have full on schedules in my day to day. So if I'm not with them, because when I'm with them, I don't have anything scheduled. It's just me and them. And it is a lot of work. It's like a full day's work. And then when I'm not with them, I have my clients and then the gym and things like this. So I make time. Today I did like a red light therapy session and breath work. And then I had work before this, and now it's this, and now the gym after this. So, and then my kids come home.
Oh,
So, a day in the life of me.
wow,
Yeah.
it sounds very productive. And it
Yes,
looks like it's paying off.
it is. Yes. Yeah.
One thing that I saw that you mentioned, that you're deeply connected to the Seraphim realms. I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah. It's something I've always known ever since I was young. I didn't understand why I felt such a heart resonance with humanity, and like I have a lot of compassion, and I believe that what we project out into other people,
Mhm.
it will basically create whatever you think. So I always knew that my mind was so powerful and that my guidance came from a realm that is much higher than most people can even comprehend. So this is also another reason why I felt like I had a responsibility to take care of my body and mind and soul because I have a great purpose here. And especially raising these twins,
Mhm.
um, but then they're going to also be guided in the right way so that we can usher in a new way of being on this planet, which is having compassion. And that definitely comes from an angelic realm, the compassion, the love, the ability to commune with our creator in such a clear way that isn't distorted, that doesn't have any fear, that enables us to really know when there's messages coming to us that are coming from places of fear or places of empowerment. And then once we can figure out why we're thinking fearful thoughts, those are things to be recognized and released. But for the most part, my thoughts have been very much empowering. Even through my dark times, I've had messages channeling through like, you're doing so good. This is going to bring you to so much knowledge and you're going to hold a frequency that others will need. That's why you went through this. Because, I mean, how much can I help somebody get through something if I don't understand how to get through it myself in the first place? It's almost like I'm holding like a pillar of light. Like over here, I know how to do it. I can help you navigate. And even if it isn't through words or support, it's just an energy. It's like a lighthouse energy. So I understood that. I can't even get into how many times I've had emotional breakthroughs of just having these messages. And it's just like, I just start crying on just like, I'm like, oh my God, like, and it just comes in and I can't explain why. Most of the time it actually happens when I'm detoxing or when I'm like in a really hot bath and I'm sweating or when I'm in the gym working my body. So things are
Mhm.
flowing, energy is flowing. And then I get these beautiful messages that are just so uplifting and they just keep me on a steady path forward. They just
Mhm.
hold me there. And I notice the more that I've detoxed my body, the more I've been able to really maintain that
Mhm.
frequency and not allow myself to go back into old programmings of self doubt or shame or even grief about old situations in life. Yeah, I mean, we all do that, right? As humans, but we can release all of those things and
Right.
more embodied.
And this is something that I was shown one New Year's morning was I connected in with my higher consciousness and they were showing me that the cells in our body actually they showed them like little bubbles. And on
Mm-hmm.
the bottom of the each bubble was this gray matter or gray energy. And they were talking about that's why it's so important to do all of the different emotional and mental clearing, physical clearing, because when you actually release all of that lower frequency energy out of the physical cells, then you can embody more of your own higher consciousness.
Right. Yes. That's
So
it.
everything you've been saying is just that exactly.
Hmm. So it's just like it's an emotional stuckness in our bodies. It's almost like a heavy, dense energy. Think about frequency and how the higher it vibrates, the more movement it has. Lower vibration, it's like stuck. So that's what happens in our cells. And it's like we just got to get rid of the stickiness. And what's the stickiness? It's toxins, pathogens, toxins, and
And
yeah.
I'm a big believer in especially parasite cleanses.
Yes. Yeah, because there's different parasites and some
Right.
of them get taken out by one type. I found the most effective cleanse is fasting. Elimination first, proper elimination of the food so that when you're fasting, the parasites and pathogens don't have anything to feed on. You
Mhm.
just starve them right out. I've had the most exponential growth through those types of cleanses rather than taking the things like I've done that in the past, taking walnut hull and wormwood and all that sort of stuff.
Uh-huh.
But and I still do. It's like kind of like a lifestyle thing where I'm putting that stuff in my body once in a while. From what I've understood, is fasting is the most, is top notch, number one way to clear yourself of all of the parasites in the brain, the tissues, the organs, because they're everywhere, not just in the
Right.
gut.
The first time I was actually aware of it was way back in 2015. And I came back from visiting my son in China and I had parasites. I immediately started a cleanse. And the first
Mm-hmm.
thing I noticed after getting rid of the parasites was I never got a cold. I never got sick. At the time, I was living with my daughter and granddaughter, and they could have a raging fever and flu, and I never got it. It was like my
Mm-hmm.
immune system was
Yes.
kicked way up.
Yeah, it's true. What they do is basically they're like viruses that they go into your body and they tap into your mainframe, like your nervous system, to
Uh-huh.
make you crave the things that they can feed on to survive and even multiply in your body. So they're basically demons in physical form. It allows for more of these things to amplify or to be attracted. And so you become like a portal for these entities and energies, and you're not fully embodying who you truly are and what you're meant to be anymore. You're just confused. And why people are so confused all the time everywhere, it's because they're full of parasites. It's huge. And they're finding new species every day of parasites. So, and we're living in this world, it's unclean. And for people to say, I don't have parasites, it's just so ignorant.
For a busy single mom who feels like they're just stressed out and a little overweight, what would you say would be the first thing for them to start pulling their power back to themselves?
Oh man, I think that's a huge question. Just depends on the lifestyle of the woman. And for the most part, I do believe that minerals are so huge. Like if somebody can add minerals, will just completely change their whole reality. Even if they're not detoxing, it's the adding of the minerals that I feel like that's the number one first thing I would say. Then once people start to become, it's like they come back online when they get the minerals because things are almost channeling properly in the body again. And then you start to understand what you need next.
What kind of minerals are you talking about?
I use Shilajit,
How do you spell that?
Shilijit.
That's good to know. I'll check that
Yeah.
out.
What else? I would say magnesium is huge too, and iodine, nascent iodine. So it comes in drops because iodine actually helps with like the thyroid. You know, we live in a world, especially women, we're using all these chemicals and products. Like, get rid of the chemicals first and foremost. That's just number one, because it just messes with our endocrine system. And iodine can help to cleanse that out. And especially with the radiation and stuff, people know that iodine helps with people that have been like, in radioactive fallout areas that have been affected. So they use iodine to cleanse that out. But if we're using that daily, it actually helps our body to maintain more of a like a natural state rather than getting bombarded by all these frequencies and endocrine disruptors. So that's another huge one. And I feel like magnesium too. And I think that things from like green powders, but without any fillers, like anything like spirulina or chlorella, those are huge, and they bind to heavy metals and things. So it actually helps to cleanse you out. I feel like a daily something like that would definitely help anybody. I'm seeing it with my own eyes when I'm like, okay, just buy this and see how you feel in a month. And they're like, oh my God, I feel so good. It's so simple. Just adding those things to your lifestyle. Yeah, it can just be like a game changer.
So you'd probably say take a look at your diet and first of all, remove processed food,
Yes. Remove the food.
chemicals
Yeah.
in your diet,
Yeah.
chemicals in your what you're putting on your body. And we've got enough of them that we breathe in the air.
Right. Yeah. So minimal exposure is number one. And then whole foods can actually help your body kind of come to back to a state of balance, hormonal balance. That's huge, especially for women that just had kids. And I know like it's hormonal is huge. So when we're using all of these chemicals, women don't realize how much damage it does on our systems, right?
Movement, getting into a little bit of movement every day, even if your
Yeah.
kids are small, put them in the stroller, go for a walk, do whatever you
Yeah.
can.
Yes, that's so huge. Like I use my babies as weights. Would have so much fun, like just
Yeah.
swinging around and going down low and just doing squats. Squats are huge. Okay, that's number one, actually. If you had one thing to do every day as a mother, especially if you're on your phone or doing whatever, yoga squats. You can look it up on Google. Do a yoga squat and try to do more and more every day, or even when you're just waiting for something to cook in the kitchen or whatever. And just get down and do some squats because the more flexible your hips are, the more flexible everything else will be. Your spine, and spine is just an extension of your brain. So when we have spinal health, it's like it increases our body's ability to heal itself and function properly. So
Wonderful.
yoga squats. Yes, so
Yeah, and it
easy.
might
So easy.
help your booty get some shape into it
Yes,
again.
exactly. Well, it's just actually it's a position. You just hold it.
Oh, okay.
The low squat where you're holding and you kind of I do prayer hands and I put one knee here so it helps to really open up the legs, and then just taking deep breaths in that position. I mean, sometimes I do it when I'm on my phone, right? But yeah, it's so simple, no excuses, right? Just do
Right.
a yoga squat, and it's you can do whatever you need to do in that position, like watching a movie or even anything. So I'd suggest everybody look into doing something like that. And then just lymphatic movement, jumping, rebounding is huge too. That's one thing I definitely started doing after giving birth because I knew that would help the lymph and all of the stagnation in my body move. And I also learned years ago about how if you're having an emotional break or something negative happening in your mind, and it's a very negative experience, you can actually jump up and down and completely change your physiology or shake yourself.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like you can shake it off, like it's a literal thing.
Well,
Yeah.
these are so many good suggestions. I wonder about the kids, and sometimes a lot of people use television, and now
Yes.
there's a multitude of different kinds of screens to
Yeah.
babysit them when you're trying to get something done. Do you have any
Hmm.
suggestions to keep the kids busy where they might use their imaginations rather than looking at a screen?
Yeah. So we didn't do screen time for a really long time. We didn't even let them look at our phones when we were on them, when they were babies. And then they started getting more interested. And now that they're a little bit older, like they get to watch certain movies, but I have to screen them first. They don't just watch any old thing on TV, like learning shows. So things about mathematics and just teaching them, but it's not very often they even get to watch TV. So, but for the most part, they got so used to it as babies that they weren't having tantrums about them when they didn't get them. So I would say interactive play and just having things ready for them to play with and I guess do and draw and create. And we have like a lot of books for them to draw with and different. I guess we do tracing for letters. We read a lot of books too, and lots of play. Like kids love to play. They love to play, but once they get used to a screen, it becomes an addictive thing because kids are still developing in their brain. And think about how addictive they are to us. And
Right.
for kids, it's going to be just like next level. So that's why I feel like it's so important not to even give them a screen until they're old enough, like 16 even, right? I think the main thing is having connection. They want connection, just like we do, right? We get
Right.
addicted because we don't have connection. So when we connect with our children on a level that they feel full, they won't want to be on the screen. So I think that's the main thing. But I know how hard it can be to navigate being a single parent
Mhm.
and having to do things and like cook. I keep looking at my stove. I'm like, yeah, I'm always standing at my stove. I'm like a chef, an at-home chef, like all day, always preparing different things. I think just connection with them is the biggest part. Making time too, so that they get full from the connection between mother, parent, and child.
And it sounds like that their father is very much on board with
He is, yeah,
the type of upbringing you want for the girls.
yeah, he is. But life happens. We're not
Right.
together anymore, but we're still friends, and we co-parent very well together. And yeah, he's a good provider, a good parent, and we're always talking about what we should do in this case or that case. So I chose him for a reason, and I think ultimately they chose us,
Oh,
and
yes. It
I think
was
that's what
one big
together
soul
is.
contract.
Yes, yeah. And then we came together, we created them, and we're like, I guess, yeah, we're not working anymore, but we came together for them, and I think there was always that I know that there was after we're not together anymore. I knew that that's why we came together.
Mhm.
We needed to create these twins together.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and they did. They picked you and him for
Yeah.
parents for a
Yeah.
reason. And I think that does show the higher consciousness of the kids coming in nowadays.
Right.
And
Yeah.
when they've picked someone like you for a mom and their father, they probably have some real missions in life that they want to accomplish.
Hmm. I'm looking forward to seeing who they become.
It's so much fun, I have to tell you.
Yeah.
You just never know where they're going to end up. I never knew my son would end up in Beijing, China.
Wow.
Yeah,
That must be fun to be able to go there every so often to visit him, though.
it is. It's a lot of fun. Is there something in particular, a message perhaps that you've channeled recently or that's been on your mind? Is there something that you would like to leave people with before we wind up our interview today?
Well, the first thing that came to mind is how the feminine is now coming back online. I mean, the feminine has been under attack for so many years.
Right.
And a part of it is chemicals. And that's why we're fed, put this on our face, put this in our body, blah, 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 blah. Like, and men don't have to be bombarded like this, right? But the feminine is fully under attack. And so I feel the need to really just emphasize how important it is to find a way to rid ourselves of toxic environments, whether that be the physical toxins, the chemicals, and also the people. Because especially with women, we hold on to other people's stuff. And so that's I think one of the main things is you become who you share your air with. So who you interacting with, who is affecting you, your mind, and playing a huge part or role in your life. Are they really somebody that can help you to really usher in this new reality, or that even sees you for who you are? Because we need to really really make a choice on whether or not we want to keep these people around or not. So it is the shedding season, the end of the snake year, right? So this is the last little bit of our ability to really shed and then enter into the season of the horse, which is like galloping into our new reality where we can really do exactly what we came here to do and go for it head on. So I do believe that right now it's important to release what no longer serves us. And yes, we have to do things that are uncomfortable. It's not easy to rid ourselves of old lifestyles and people, but I think if we're really, it's all about choice. And when we're making choices that come from a place of fear, or come from a place of enlightenment. It's like it's easy to decide, and we know who's operating in our choices, either the dark or the light. We ultimately are the ones that can make a choice. So I think it's important for us to really tap into what we really want right now and feel what we need to do.
Wonderful. Amen, sister.
Yes.
And you're a beautiful example for your girls. So I would love to do a follow-up, maybe 6 months, and just see how you're doing and what you are
Sounds
doing.
great. Sounds great. Thank you so much for having me, April.
Well, you're welcome. I'm glad to get your face out there and your wisdom. I think that it's time. I think the world needs to know who Ally-Seraphim is now.
Thank you.
I love you.
Love
You
you.
you have a wonderful day
You
and we'll
too.
talk soon.
Sounds good.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.